Good evening and welcome to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. It is Monday night all over again, and tonight is our special guest and my personal friend, Mr. Milton McCulloch, who has been a featured author and artist of Fresh Book Festival for the last 8 years. Has it been 8 years?
9 years, girl.
9 years.
9 years.
Yes, he has been involved with the
Actually,
festival.
no. I only missed the first one.
Oh,
I was
so
not the
it's
first.
10 years.
10 years. It's only
So
the first one I was not.
We have been at the hip together for the last 10 years, bringing literacy to the city of Daytona Beach. And I am so glad to have a partner who is so engaged in the conversation of making sure that literacy is important. So welcome, Milton, to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation.
Thank you.
So Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation is brought to you by Mr. Milton McCulloch, author of Love and Emancipation and host of Night Talk, Isla's Diamonds LLC, Ms. L.D. Robinson from Ladero Press, and of course, the Fresh Book Festival 2022. If you have any questions for Milton, please leave them in the chat box. If we have time at the end of the hour, we will go over your questions. This conversation is being recorded. Good evening, Milton, my friend. Please take a moment to introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, first of all, Donna, thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, no
I've
problem.
done this many times with you as co-host.
Yes. All right, we're co-hosts together for so many years.
And it's ironic because for those who may not know, the name Fresh Conversation was a combination of my event Conversations Literary Series and Fresh Book Festival. That's how we came up. So we did the show together, I think maybe about 6 months or so.
In the radio station?
Yes, somewhere around there.
No, we did it for
a year?
Yeah, at least a year. And then, Miss Bethune and I and you were together. What was it called then? Sweet Tea with a Chaser.
Sweet Tea with a Chaser.
And that was 2
for
years.
6.5 years.
6.5 years we did that together?
That's how long we did it for,
Oh my God. So that was called Sweet Tea with a Chaser.
Yes.
And so, so we've been attached to the hip for a while.
For a while, right?
Yeah. so just give us a little inkling about who you are all about.
Well, for one, if you have missed it, yes, I'm originally from the beautiful island and country of Jamaica. And yes, we just went 1, 2, 3 in the women's finals.
Yes, you did.
The Olympics.
That black girl magic, I tell you, yeah.
So big up to all the people who made it to the Olympics. That's just an achievement, overall. So and so I've been in this country like 30 years now. I have a son. I have a granddaughter. For those of you who see me on Facebook, y'all see her all the while.
The boss.
That's my boss lady.
Yeah.
Nora. I'm an only child. And both parents are now passed. I miss my mom a lot. And what
was your mom's name?
Oh, the name that y'all know by, not our legal name, Putus.
Yeah, Putus, yes. Very nice lady.
So I've been here. I'm self-employed. I'm the author of 3 books. 3 books of poetry. First one, A State of Life, Man, Woman, Child. Second one, I'm Just Saying, a poetic prescription, unfiltered a poetic prescription. And the third one was Love and Emancipation. I have a copy of it right here. This is, and I'm showing this copy because this is the very first copy that was ever bought. This was the one to test to see if all the pages were correct.
Right.
And there was one missing. But I keep that. That reminds me of where I was coming from. And so that I'm a playwright. I've had one of my plays recorded on public television many years ago and was done at the Orlando International Fringe Festival. That's a part of it most people don't even quite know that, and did plays in Jamaica that did the church circuit up there in Jamaica. So yes, I know I'm working on an album and I'm working on a documentary film. We already started shooting the film. It's called My Story, My Song, and tentatively set to be released December 18th of this year. And so, and my album, hopefully we'll finish that. It's called Revelation. Some of the music is already on YouTube. Music videos are on YouTube. So I'm excited, and more than anything else, I'm just really excited because I believe that all the things that have taken place in my life is just because God's hand was on me.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and it's and that the thing I call I call I call Janice my big sis. She knows that already. When I say, "Hey, big sis," and it kind of, when I said her hand is on me, her book about her dad kind of reminds me of how
Afternoons with TJ.
yeah, all your hand can be on your children, or God's hand can be on you because of your mom and because of your father and your grandparent. And she's here, and she kind of, that just came to mind because I haven't read her book. It kind of resonates in that way to me right now. And so I'm
Well,
here
they
now.
say when people pray for you, I have a lineage of people who pray for me. So I know that, when the darkest hour is just before the dawn, that, there are people on the ground, in the air, that have their eyes
Yeah,
and their ears on me. So that's really nice to know that you can feel it, right? You can feel that kind of
yeah.
empowerment, right?
I'm sure when Janice was writing that book, Conversation, TJ, that's
Oh,
how she
yes.
felt.
Oh,
You
yes.
must have felt that, like their hand is what you're doing
Right.
wrong is a direct result of what they've done all along. The prayers, their spirit's still there. They're just hanging. They're hanging with you as you're hanging out. They're hanging with you as you're
Right.
barely hanging on.
Right.
They're hanging with you. You know.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there are days when I wake up and my mother's voice is just like she's in the room, right? And so you have to know that they're there to protect you, and that's the most important thing.
Yes. Yes.
So let's get to your books. So I've been through with you for all three books, right? But for people who don't know your story, let's start with the first one, State of
Life, Man, Woman, Child.
Life. Okay, let's start about that one.
And thank you, because the first time I became a featured author was with this book
Yeah,
at the
Fresh
second
book.
Fresh
Mhm.
Book Festival, and that book was kind of started out with me just starting to write quite a few poems, and I shared them. Everybody was like, "Ha!" Talking about like my like maybe around 40. I was starting to write poems again because I've written songs. That's what I was, and plays in Jamaica that were performed. And so I started to write, and the poems started to resonate with so many people. I said, this is something, you know what? Instead of just writing poems and just leave them like that, put it in a book.
Mm.
So it'd be there for, forever. You understand? Nobody can take that legacy away from me. If our grandchildren, great grand, they'll come and say, oh, that was Peepaw's book. That was Grandpa's book. My son would say the same, and so that's what that was the motivation with that book, to let my thoughts be on paper and have it been published. And I call that my first child, so to speak. So, and I love it. I read it all the while. I probably read that one more than any of all three books,
Right.
because it takes me back, almost feel like I'm going back to a childhood days with it,
Right. So then you have Unfiltered. And I want to talk about briefly about your publishing process. So what about State? How did you do that one?
I did that with a self-publishing company, iUniverse.
Okay.
I mean, it was smooth. It wasn't. It was relative. The cost was not much. It was like $600 I paid them. They didn't do any editing.
That's
Pretty
fine.
much. No, you had to format it and send it in the way that. So all they did was just print it. And it was, print on demand book. So that was that.
So that particular package didn't come with copies of the book. I'm only trying to say that
Yes,
there are
it came with like 5 copies.
Okay, there's some young authors out there who are going through the process. So I kind of like to get them to know what process have we already been through
Right.
to get that done. So iUniverse, Uverse or Universe?
No, Universe,
Okay.
iUniverse.com.
And
And so
$600 or $1,000, you get 5 copies.
then Then
Yes,
it
right.
was this was like 2000. It came out December 15, 2010. So it was like during that year,
Okay.
you know, a few
Okay.
months before.
But
I
no
got
editing.
information.
But no
Yeah,
editing.
no editing. You had to edit your stuff. You know, they gave you there was a site you go to for book covers, and you were with the money that you pay them, you were able to pick two covers from it. In other words, if you pick one you didn't like it, you have a choice to pick a second one. And so
Mm.
it was very minimal for that, what, $600.
Right,
And you
right,
got
right.
5 books. Yeah. And the royalties, there
What?
was no royalty. No royalty. You
None.
didn't make I didn't make money from it. I sold maybe about 1,600 copies of that.
Mm.
And pretty much I was never on the bestseller list, because the only way you get on the list is if they purchase from their website.
Right. Well, there are many ways to get on the bestseller list now,
Yeah. So
but that was
I
back
my own,
then, right?
right. My
Hmm.
best selling list was selling it myself and
Well,
collect.
yeah. I
I made the
mean,
most money from it that
right,
way.
right, right. And so Unfiltered was a little bit more complicated with another publishing company, but how was it different from iUniverse?
It was for this one because they're a bigger company, you know. And though I had an account person that I was working with them, you know, at any time they could change that person. But this time I was working with the person who owned the company,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So it was very direct, you know, which
Right.
was I like that. I enjoyed doing it that way, and also it was it was very
Smooth.
smooth. You know, Bethune Publishing was very smooth. Never have any hiccups with it and all of that.
And that was just a little bit more expensive than the first one.
Actually, not a whole lot more expensive.
Okay.
You
Because she
know,
was a boutique press.
yeah,
Yeah. You know,
right,
no overhead, no nothing. Yeah.
right. And the editing again, I got editing done. You know. Oh, I should say this. On the first book, I did pay someone to edit. So
Okay.
if you're a new author, don't edit your own book, please.
No.
get
Please.
get somebody who's competent
Please.
enough to edit your book, and even if it get messed up, at least you won't feel better. You will actually feel better, even if there's some little, you know, mistakes after I edit. Because the best of editors will leave out something or have a little, you know, they're not going to be 100%.
Right.
But don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. What I will say is that if you have a good friend who you know is have a great command of the English language, and maybe I've written a book already, let them read your manuscript, let them go over it, and let them do a kind of pre-editing for you as well. And you'll be surprised, they will find stuff for you to say, hey, this don't flow, this, you know, the grammar here, hey, the continuity in the story doesn't matches up. And I actually live in Philly and this road doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So unless this is like not a real road you're doing, you know, 'cause people gonna read it and think, you know, it ain't nothing like that, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah,
and
I get
then
a
let
lot of that
somebody.
because mine was in DC. So, you know,
Right.
everybody has an opinion about that, but I keep telling them, you know, this is in 1982. That, of course, that store is not there anymore. You know, it
Exactly.
was a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah. So let
Yeah.
somebody edit your book who is a professional, you know,
Hmm.
who knows what they're doing, have experience in doing this thing, and will make sure that your book doesn't go there looking like you don't know English language, or you know you have no, you know,
Well,
it's
most of
not.
it has to do with finance, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, I
but
have to pay it.
but you really do have to pay to get it done well, right?
Yeah.
Unless you find a retired librarian, hint, 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 that
No,
can help you out for, you
get
know,
get
not
it done right.
not forever, not for nothing, but just not for the cost of somebody else. But okay, your third book.
Third book, Love and Emancipation. No,
Now,
I
see,
said
I
my
can see the progress, right? I mean, I love State, right? But you could tell that that was your junior book.
Yes, yes, you could.
Love and Emancipation is a whole nother level
Different
of
animal.
writing. Yeah,
And
it is.
and as a matter of fact, the second book, I'm just saying, is, how should I say this now? It was the book that I said, I'm gonna start to write like I don't care what anybody may feel about what I write, because I said the strongest voices in history was always the voice of the poets.
Right.
They were always the strongest voice, even up to this day. When you go to Cuba, has a history of that. When the poets spoke out, they got persecuted. Poets, because poets were the voice of the people. That's what it was. It wasn't even authors; it was poets. So I felt like
it goes across lifetimes.
Right.
Gil Scott Heron. Come on, how long was that? 50 years.
Yes, the revolution will be televised.
Will be televised. I mean, how
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. And there's a poem in that book that I really like, and if we have time at the end, I'd like you to read. I can't think of the name of it, but you performed it at the Fresh Book Festival.
Okay, I'll try to remember
what it is. Yeah. And so what is the whole process? We have three books of poetry, which are very, very different.
Yes.
What lesson did you learn during the process of publishing?
Be free.
Okay.
Be free.
Yeah.
Find liberty in the writing, because sometimes you might feel restrained, but find that liberty in writing, because at the end of the day, you don't be apologetic of what you put on paper and what is now in print. So be free.
Yeah, because Love and Emancipation is very free.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
there's a poem that's very erotic in Love and Emancipation. There's a poem that talks about freedom and marching and and being a part of the movement. And then there's a poem about friendship. So really, that book is really the combination of the other two, but on steroids, right?
Yes, yes, that could be a way to describe.
Right.
That could be a way to describe it.
Yeah.
And and you know what? I tried, as I said, when I wrote the second book, it was about, that's why the title was saying, I'm just saying, unfiltered, a poetic prescription, because I was trying to not be so, I wanted to feel free in what I'm writing, and if it means that it might offend, it might stir some controversy, I understand I have the spirit of a poet, and that's my role. Whether persecution comes with it or not, that's my role right now. Exactly. And I have to take on that. Yeah, and I have to take on that role. With Love and Emancipation, I continue to gain greater freedom with what I want to say. But this time I was saying that this is a statement to you right now. This is a statement. This is a statement. I'm not just free, right? I'm expressing yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Right.
Because sometimes we express freedom only in our present, when sometimes we need to go back and be free from that past, and then we have to get, as we are present, we also have to learn that tomorrow, if you live to see, you need to go in tomorrow with that mentality of freedom too. You don't want to get ensnared again. You don't want to get enslaved again. After you went into the past and got your freedom. That's why, as Black people, whether we're from the Caribbean or we are from here, we are all there. There's so much of our past that we need to be freed of. And that's what Love and Emancipation.
We're forever looking in the rearview mirror, but you know what? Sometimes you have to look to make sure it's not still coming.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But,
exactly.
Yeah.
So Love and Emancipation. Love and Emancipation was about me looking in the future too. That when I step into the future, I'm continuing to be free, and I'm free presently, and I'm free of that past.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the two things that you've done in the last 5 years. One is Conversations of Literary. Oh, wait, first of all, remember when we were on the radio when you came up with the title of I'm Just Saying? Do you remember that night?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah. And we all said, that's the name of the book. That's the name of the book. I remember that night very well. So let's talk about the two things that you've done in the last 5 years. One, Conversations, a literary series at Three Mask. And it's been 4 years.
It went on for about 3
3
years. We're in the
years.
4th year. We
We're
did
in
the
the 4th
first
year.
4, and
And
you were supposed
then
to come back for March for
and then the
another run,
COVID hit, right?
and the COVID hit,
Yeah.
and we had to cancel.
And what he's referring to is I did a erotic night, which was very popular. And it was
The only
done,
show that is always sold out
it
every
was
year.
done very tastefully, but
Yes.
very erotic. So Conversations, a literary series, and then you jumped to Night Talk. So tell us how you made that pivot.
Pretty much with the COVID thing, we couldn't, literally be physically into a space, for to highlight a poet and an author. And let me just, for those people who are not familiar with Conversations, a literary series, it was an event where I made the authors the main feature.
Yeah.
And they closed it. And for 2 hours, we engaged with the poet, the author, and we supplemented the event.
Special guests.
Yeah, we'll have like maybe a visual artist or a dance or somebody sing. But in all of these kind of settings, locally and everywhere else, authors only get book festivals to do stuff, or a
Right.
book signing. And I thought, like, why are we being pushed aside? I'm an author and a poet, but nobody invites me to come feature my book. They invite me to come do a spoken word, So I thought that it was so important to, as I said, push literary works in the forefront. I was trying to get my big sister come. The last year when the COVID, we were trying to get her to come, and so that's why Conversation was there. It was to make sure that I provided a space and a platform for authors, and don't make them be the secondary feature, but be the main feature. So the poets opened up for Donna, and she closed it. And
Shout out to Jonte Love, because
Jonte Love, what a closing! Yes, and Selena,
amazing, and Selena Sanchez, right?
Yes, it was just amazing. It just complemented each other, and so many.
And if
people,
you guys have not heard her poetry about $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Candy bar. It is.
Candy, yes.
It's amazing. It's called Candy. Yes.
Candy.
Selena Sanchez, everybody. She's amazing.
Yes, she is amazing. So when that was over, I said I wasn't going to do virtual with it anymore, although I wanted to do that. So I said I need to do something that I would be like okay with doing virtually, and that's when Night Talk came. And a Night Talk, I would have an author come on up, but it was a variety this time. And then we started to do more of topics and all of that. And although I've taken an hiatus on that right now, I'm planning to bring it back. But this time it's going to be of a different kind of format, because really what I wanted it to be was a little bit more fun and not so serious, and a mix of that. Let's just imagine a Tom Joyner show with a late night show, kind of like that.
Right. Yeah.
A nice little mix where we can have arts, we can have poetry, we can have comedy, we can have games, we can have just just things to do to just make sure that we're not too serious, but we can have fun. But at the same time, we can have serious conversations too.
And a Night Talk was a little bit more serious than you wanted it to be, or that's where it kind of morphed into that?
It kind of morphed into that.
Okay.
We end up doing a lot more relationship topics. And so I allowed that, but then, we once we got into the hiatus, I said, I need to really try to get it back on track in, the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah, because sometimes relationships can take you to places you really don't want to talk about, and feelings get hurt, and things get said.
Right.
Yeah, so
and everybody talks about relationships, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you get tired of talking about it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so let's jump to the motherland, because I am just so excited about this project, right? Tell us how it is that you decided that touching the motherland musically, word-wise, book-wise, dealing with children. Tell me how all that happened. I knew I was on the peripheral, but
Yeah.
tell me exactly how you decided to go across to the continent.
Okay, so in January of this year, I was invited, the only poet on this international music show that featured performing artists from Kenya, from the UK, Jamaica, and the US. And the US was like Florida, New York, and I think Atlanta and Georgia. So different states. And so it was an amazing show, amazing performers, singers. We had one of the guy that was the main feature in it. He was a member of a legendary Jamaican reggae group called the Cables. Right. They had some like outstanding music. They're like more like contemporaries of Bob Marley in Bob Marley early days. You know, as a matter of fact, they were before Bob's kind of. You understand? But and so one of the young men who opened it, he caught my attention, and I realized he was from Kenya, and I caught his attention because he reached out to me and on Facebook and said, "Man, I really love your poem. You're an amazing writer." And I was like, "Man, I was feeling you too, man."
Right, exactly.
I said, "Well, because I was praying. I said, Lord, I want to work with this young man. I would love to work with him." And that was it. I said, "Man, I'm having this. I plan to do a compilation album. I'd love for you to see if you could, collaborate with it." And he said, "Sure, man, because I love your writing, man, your poetry." And from that, there she goes. That's you got it. Good.
Oh yeah. I've already listened to it. I can't really focus on it. Is it? Okay. Revelation by Milton McCulloch.
Yes. So the CD that's those 5 songs from the whole album. So and I'll get to that.
Let's talk about them. So one is called Hold On by Johnny Waynes.
Johnny Wines, and he was the guy who performed on the virtual international music festival.
And it's very, very well done. Very well
done. Thank you. And that's it. I woke up, the first song I wrote was the one that's called Not Your Only Song, song number 4 on the CD you have. It's on, the music video is on YouTube. I don't know if anyone else got a chance to watch any of them. But they're the three songs on the CD there now of the 5 are on YouTube. And so we just connected, and I woke up one morning, I wrote that song early. I just because he kept saying, "Have you written that song yet?" And I was like, "It's coming, just hold on." And I got up and wrote that song in no time. And then I wrote the next one in no time. Then I wrote another one. Then I had one. The first one, Hold On, I'd already written that already. And I was sharing it with him. I said, "Hey, I have these lyrics. Tell me what you think." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I love it. Can you send me the melodies?" So I sang the melody, and he was like, "Oh, I love this song. I love it." And it's like kind of his favorite song on it himself.
Oh, I don't know. I like Not Your Only Song.
Big God.
Big God.
Yeah, so Big God is a jump up song. That's my granddaughter's favorite song. She said, "People, you want me to play your song?" When she called me, I said, "Yeah, which one?" So which one? She said, "Big God, Big God." She sings it.
It is really a good song, right? Now, Sons of Music, did they play at the festival last year?
Yes, they performed.
Yes, they performed at the F.R.E.S.H Book Festival virtually. Yeah.
Yes.
They were really good too.
Right, and they did. So that's recorded now, and I'm just excited, very excited. All these are so coming back to Kenya now, so the motherland. And what happened is that mconnection with the motherland developed to where I found a music music producer to write them, produce the beats and the instrumentals. And
okay, yeah, but listen, you just don't find somebody. How did that happen?
Johnny, he knew a producer in Kenya, and he introduced me, and we're like brothers. We're like brothers now.
Yeah, it's a collaboration, that connection.
Right? Yes, and then Big God. Then Johnny introduced me to his friend Jardin, who sings Big God, and to another young man named Luxury. That's not their real names. They have these kind of English names. Okay?
Oh, that's fine.
but they it just became like it just started to like roll along, you know, just smooth. I mean, just happening, just keep happening, and now it got to the point so where Johnny was with some students, some kids in the neighborhood singing Not Your Only Song, and he taught them in about 15 minutes and
Right.
recorded it.
It's
And
amazing.
and they were singing the song with such vitality. I was like, how did they know all of that words already? He said, I taught them and they learned quick. It was like 20 of them, and like where they're from. And they said they go to the school in the area. There's several schools, but there's a school that I think he went to. It's called the Mukura Kenyan Outreach Academy, and they're located in Nairobi, Kenya, but they're in like the slums. Okay, so pretty much they're in the slums. If you see pictures of what their toilet is, what their facility is, their school is on what you call an informal settlement, or in Jamaica we would say captured land. Okay, if you understand, do you understand that captured
No,
land?
no,
Our
I don't.
informal settlement is that it's land owned by the government, and
Okay.
they go and just go put something on it and build a house, some kind of building without purchasing it because the government is not using it. It's just like out in
We
that
call
area.
that eminent domain.
Yes, pretty much. Same thing. They call it informal settlement, and we call it in Jamaica we say captured land.
Mm-hmm.
So it's land that the government belongs to the government. So what happens is that they don't have certain things. I was checking into the school. I sponsored an event for them. Just like a brunch. I had some friends donated money, and from that I discovered more stuff the stuff that they need, and I'm like, wow, I need to do something, at least begin something going so we can give them something. They don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have no computers, the school, the building, and Donna, you have seen pictures of it because of
Yeah.
and so I got together a committee to say, instead of just give them money, let's find ways to provide for them where they can have something, a residual income. And that's where I decided, apart from trying to get some funding going, to get them some computers, at least one per class. I said, let's do a book, because that's what we do, right?
What we do.
And they are sending us work already, the students.
Man.
I've been sending stuff, the amazing pieces that they're writing already. And they're so articulate, and they're dressed they're in uniform, but and the teachers are paid by the students, by the parents in this poor neighborhood. The teachers earn 150 to 200 US a month. That's what they are. College educated too.
In May, menu.
Sorry.
One of nine.
And you would, I don't know why that's something my TV does that from time to time. Sorry, but that's what they do, and they that's like not. We know it's not much income, but for them it's still not much. But it's a lot compared to some people who make like.
Well, the currency exchange, right? So
even with the currency
yeah.
exchange, they live off very little in Kenya. It's like 100. The average is about 100 Kenyan shillings to $1 US. So people work there. Like some of the boys that was saying, they have jobs when they do work, and they make $4 a day, loading for 8 hours, unloading stuff from a storage or a warehouse. $4.
And so creative.
And yet so creative.
Oh, Johnny is just amazing.
Yes, amazing. And so I had to do it. It was like I was compelled, I talked to Donna about it, and we just had a Zoom meeting with the principal, the headmaster of the school, and he's so grateful that we're reaching out. As a matter of fact, I say this to you, they still don't believe we're doing this for.
I know.
They're not used to people doing this. They said, we're not used to. So it's like, first the reaction was like, what are you trying to get out of this? That was a proposed ask. Because you're in the US, why you to go all the way over here trying to do something? Is there something you're trying to get from this? And I had to really prove myself. you know, over the months. And, you know, I never asked for nothing. I don't show anything, try not to, I didn't give any indication. I just want to give. And I said, I have people here that just want to do the same for you.
So
and we know
tell,
that, you know.
tell us about the, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Tell us
that's fine.
about how you feel about how that book is going to be put together, because I had never thought about that way, excuse me, until you said, let's have their writing on one page and have it typed on another page, right? Their original writing. I think that's exquisite, really. I just think that that's the way to go, if we can make that work.
Oh, we gonna make it work.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, because that, I mean, I thought about it. I was like, what more organic way to show that? You know, they don't have computers. They have not sent anything to me titled, because they don't have that right now. Not even the headmaster. He takes a picture, they write it, handwriting, and he takes a picture of it. If I can get a chance right now, I will actually
I'd love you to read one of them.
yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, because the
Right.
last I'm gonna do it right now. His name is Enoch Inyananga. That's the headmaster's name. So this poem is written by eighth grade.
He's in eighth grade? Okay.
Yes. It's called A Cry for My Rights. I am a child, free from my mother's womb. I was born innocent and without any sacrilege. I arrived in the world. Little did I know all that is in store for me. This world is such a dangerous place to inhabit. I have lived to experience a lot. The ordeals that might shake even the most valiant heart, kidnappings, rape, and murder of my colleagues, molestation and defilement, not to mention, all this happens in broad daylight. The perpetrators effect their evil acts with impunity. All I need is my rights. I emphasize with the parents of the victims, living to see the apple of their eye snatched, forced to a land of no return with brutality, aggravated cries, groaning and writhing in pain all over. What has become of this beautiful land? I might come from the bottom of the pyramid. Equal rights I deserve indiscriminately. The informal settlement in my home, I believe it isn't permanent. My dream and spirits are high as I school. Yes, I must succeed and sail through in life. The government and fellow compatriots can fail me. I do promise myself that failing isn't my portion. Success in all aspects of life, I live with optimism. My society, I must live to defend and protect the rights of each and every child to restore. All this in pursuit of justice, I set out to achieve.
Amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I always, it just makes me, it just, you know, I just.
We really wanted to have this project done by the Fresh Book Festival, whether it's.
And we're going to.
You know, I don't know whether it's going to be virtual or in person at this point with this new variant out here, but we really want to look to be in person. But the project to me is more availing and personal, because I may get to the continent, but I may not. So if I don't ever get to the continent, it's not like I didn't touch it.
Right.
But I didn't have the ability to be a part of something special for some children. And so we're definitely going to make that happen. It's just a matter of finding the time and getting it
and they're so excited. We plan to have some Zoom interactions with the students, because I get a chance to see them all, you know, via WhatsApp and Zoom from time to time. And they're just amazing kids.
I have to get that WhatsApp on my phone. Is it really easy?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Let me just throw the scene about the African project. When you get a chance to, I hope when we do it, we can get some of the folks here to sit in and listen on the Zoom. But these kids are in a classroom when you see it's like sardines, just imagine it's like sardines in this little area. No AC, right? No fans. Electricity, if the rain falls, electricity go out. So even if they add fans, it wouldn't work. So it's like open, like doorway is open, but they're still jammed up. And so they are like in there, 40 of them. And they're quiet. And the next classroom is right next to them. I don't know how the teachers do it. And they have to give, and what they do, the teachers are there from 6 in the morning. The transportation doesn't go all the way to the school because there's no road to go all the way into the school premises. So they have to get off and walk a certain distance to the school at that time of the morning. And that's why the young man wrote in his stuff about rape. And because they have had lots of incidents with kids getting raped along the way to school because it's so early.
Well, I think anything we can do, I want to let everybody know that, Milton, do you have a way for people to donate to the project?
Yeah, we are, as I said, we are in the early stages of putting all that together because we want to be very above board.
Yes, we have to be.
Funds coming, and that's because they have a concern with that. They're like, if you're doing this, are you going to make us know exactly what you're doing on our end? And we're making sure when it gets on their end that we have somebody like Majay, my producer. He's the one who's going to be a liaison between us and them. But anyhow, so you'll hear more about it because Donna is on our committee.
Oh, absolutely. I would not be on the committee. I just think it's so important that we make that connection. And if the book can make money to keep the school going, that's what we want, right?
That's what we want.
We want the books to be able to buy the computers, buy the paper, buy the pencils, even if we have to ship them over, or if we have to make a way for them to buy those products there. It's important to me that the children and young adults know that what they've done is pouring back into their neighborhood.
Yes.
To the schools.
Such dedication they have.
Such dedication. So listen, is there anything else you would like to talk about that I did not mention?
Well, let me see. Why did we not go through tonight?
I don't know. I tried to hit all the all the points.
I think we have covered most of the stuff.
Well, we didn't talk about book 4.
Yeah, we haven't talked about book 4.
Okay, let's talk about that. And have you started it?
Yes, I did. I've been like started and go, stop and go.
I know.
There is going to be a 4th book of poems because I've written some stuff since that time. And I think, as usual, my philosophy in life is that I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to take it to the grave with me. So it needs to be in a place where people can have access to it. I'm not going to leave it on some paper, around here. I'm trying my best to make sure everything gets there. So when I'm no longer here with y'all, folks can actually go access that writing, and they have it, and can go over it over and over as much as they want. And so, but the 4th book, which I have in mind, is really a novel, which is called, it's called When the Light Changes to Amber. And I'll answer that question from Big Sis.
Okay.
Is
when the light turns red.
No. When the light changes to amber.
Is that not red? What is that? It's red, green, and yellow.
Yeah, the yellow is called the amber.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, and the concept of it is like a story about a Jamaican immigrant woman. She's been here for a while in the U.S. Our family is there for the most of our family is here, and she came with all of that ambitions that most immigrants come with. And I'm gonna get an education. I'm gonna be a RN. I'm going to be something. I'm gonna go to college. And most of us, and for those who don't, they still have that ambition to get a home and and have a business and all that, and be successful because they don't want they don't want to feel ashamed. You go back and say, you go to America where you can get anything and you don't make nothing of yourself. Yeah. And you don't make anything of yourself. You understand? You come back here the same. No, that's not
Yeah.
what's supposed to be happening. So she does all of that. And pretty much what happens is that in doing all of that, she comes to a place where we call an amber moment, where she's like, oh my gosh, I've done all this, but all this time I've been doing it for everybody. I've been trying to get the perfect husband, perfect guy, fiance. He has a great job, you know, he's ambitious, he's going places. And I've never been in love with him. I've been in this job, I have a career, you know, I have a graduate degree. And yet I seem to be just going along. All this time, what I really wanted to do, right, was dance, to be a dancer. I never did that because mama and daddy says, you're not coming to America to become a dancer. You understand? You're going to be a doctor, lawyer,
Doctor,
nurse,
lawyer, yeah.
nurse. You're going to be something, but you're
Right.
not going to come here to be a dancer.
Right.
So she shoved all of that. So in the end, without giving away much, she tries to recapture some of those lost ambitions along the way without sacrificing what she has achieved already.
So amber is a metaphor whether I stop or go through the light?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's a metaphor. And
I always go through the light.
Yeah, but also too, where many of us have gotten to a stage in our lives where we have been sitting at the amber light forever, and I realize that
I won't go through.
yeah, it turns green, you know, and we don't move. We just still stuck at amber, you know. And everybody's going along and doing what they wanted to and achieving what they. I mean, I'm coming back to Big Sis because she has written more books than you and I, right?
Yes, to say the least.
Yeah. What I mean, if she had sat on all those books and not keep going, you know, not. She had a purpose where she just keep going, and I'm finding out with myself too. That's why I write songs now, because they come to me, and I have that inspiration. That's why, you know, I'm doing a documentary, my story, my song, you know, to let some of them tell their stories about what they go through as, you know, childhood and adulthood, and it's amazing. When we did the first day of filming, Donna, I had to step out of the room. The men that were in the room had to step out. We couldn't take the stories of the women there. We couldn't handle it because we were crying. And it was so painful to hear their story. And it was only 3 women telling their stories now.
That was the last event you were at, you gave?
Yes. And they were like, they're talking about being raped, being good, you know, being molested. And it was like, and they were opening up, because these are people I actually know, but I've never heard this part of them. But
well, you know, if you look at history, well, most Black women's history, all of us have been raped at one time or another. Maybe not physically, but it could have been mentally. It could have been, yeah, we all have. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is.
Oh, it's amazing. But when this is finished, it's going to be so amazing to hear the stories. But yeah, okay. I want to answer the.
Are you telling your life story in poetry, or will you be actually writing a memoir to share your life?
Oh. I don't know if I have such an interesting story for a memoir. I don't know. I've never thought of that. I never thought of, you know, writing my story. I've always felt like I want to write other people's story. Even my poetry, although it might sound like, you know, it might not be me, but I'm writing. A lot of my stories come from the lives of people. I just write it in a poetic form. And some of it I've experienced, you know, or I have some I can connect with it in some way or not, you know.
You're not gonna write your memoir.
No, I won't say no. You see, I won't say no. Remember I said earlier on, free, the word free. Yeah. If that inspiration comes to me at some point, and I feel like it's going to give me even further liberty and freedom, I'm gonna write it.
Right.
Yeah. It's all about that. It's not about taking it to, as I said, taking it in the ground with me. If it's supposed to be written, I'm gonna make the effort to write it.
So I'm going to let you take a moment and find that poem or one poem from Love and
Okay.
Emancipation to read. And Miss Mama Tony, do you have the dates for the virtual book festival for your
Yes.
book club?
Mm-hmm. Souls Maniac Virtual Book Festival is going to be August the, okay, my glasses just decided to fog up. That's pretty good. August 20, August 20, Friday, August the 27th through Sunday, August the 29th.
Okay.
Friday, August the 27th from 6 to 8. We're just doing an introduction happy hour. We're going to ask you to bring your own drinks. We're going to share with you what you're drinking in your glass, your choice. Tea, alcoholic beverages. And then on Saturday, we're going to start at noon with W. Parks Bingham, Maniac Players, that members of the club. We're going to act out a scene from a book. Then we'll have Jacqueline Thomas at 2. And from 3 to 4, we'll do a mystery playhouse with Patricia Sargent talking about her last book. And on Saturday, we're going to start at 2. Sunday, we're going to start at 2. And that's because we know some people do go to virtual church on Sunday morning still. And we're going to do cooking with Vanessa Miller Pierce. She's going to share a recipe from her latest book. The Maniac Players will come back again. And from 4 to 5, Monica Godden and Electra Roman Parks will be discussing their books, and they will be talking to us. And from 5 to 5:30, we'll be in event wrap up. So you'll be able to come and stay as long as you want to. You'll be able to go in and out. We'll put the Zoom link up. Scylla says on the 12th.
Okay.
So I'll have the Zoom link to share in the chat next Monday.
Okay.
I'll share it next Monday in the chat. So, but you'll be able to come in and out anytime you want, between starting at 6 o'clock on Friday, August the 27th, until we end at 5:30 on Sunday, August the 29th.
Well, fabulous. And it's called what's the book club called?
Souls Maniac. We'll call this a Jubilee.
Jubilee.
Yeah, this was our year to actually, last year was our year to actually have the Maniac Extravaganza, but with COVID and everything, we didn't do it. So we decided to try to do something virtual so that we don't lose it. Because the year before last, we were in Maryland. We had a weekend in Maryland, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Life people put on hold because of COVID, so it was at a standstill.
Well, we did 16 hours. And so I think that it was well done. And I'm sure you guys will do the same thing. Don't be afraid of it. We were afraid, but it went very, very well. And just everybody has to have like 64 gigabytes on their computer to make sure, especially you, and especially Scylla, the people who are running it. So if you can do that, then it'll be done very well. So look for their notice on my Facebook page and Janice's Facebook page, because we will tag each other.
Thank you.
Scylla's Maniacs, right? Scylla's Maniacs.
Mm-hmm.
Have been a part of Zoom In On A.F.R.E.S.H conversation since the beginning. And so I want to show them as much support as possible. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Milton, you're going to close us out.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Yes. Before I close this out, I just want to tell anyone, go to my YouTube channel, Milton McCulloch, subscribe to it, and just watch the 3 music videos from the upcoming compilation album titled Revelation. Okay, there are 3 songs, Not Your Only Song, Big God, right? That's it, Big God, and Revelation, which is the title song, and it's called Revelation. And also for my book, Love and Emancipation, it's only available on Amazon currently, so you can go there and get your copy. It's a really great read.
It is a great read.
So I'm not sure. I think this is one of them I performed there, but I shall do it again.
Okay.
Here, it's called I Shall Not Be Moved.
I shall not be moved. That's it.
You may not want to know who I am. You may not want to know who I can be. I may have crossed your path, but never left you with much of an impression because of selective recollections. My significance may currently evade your memory. You may not want me to rise to greatness. You may not desire for me to walk in excellence, seeking always to deny me paths to thrive. Your continual denial of my many possibilities won't stop my ancestors' faith from being realized. For the universe exhorts my soul to stand in my truth. And because I believe in my expectations, I shall not be moved. You may not endorse my ambitions. You may not believe in my legitimacy. Though you speak death over my life, my feet will nevertheless walk, run, and leap to heights you have never dreamt for me. I am destined to rise beyond what your eyes fail to see. My maker made me after his likeness and in his image. You're no different if you truly believe. I am your awaiting epiphany, a genus born out of an infinite mind, a comprehension that you constantly deny and your soul desperately desire to be. I understand your dilemma. Therefore, when you expose hate towards my being, you're only kicking against the pricks. I was born to be more than a conqueror. I am here as living proof. I will speak, declaring to heaven and earth that I shall not be moved. So let the winds blow hard. Let the storms come my way. Let the fires rage across the land. I shall not be moved. Let my adversaries surround my life and do their worst any day. I will never waver in whom upon my faith is built, for I shall not be moved.
Yay. Thank you so much. And as always, we need a pearl of wisdom from you because that's how we end the show. So.
Okay. So I forgot about that. But if I should have a pearl of wisdom, it would be, and I said this to someone today, you know, you can say no, but can you say I will not?
And on that note, thank you. That gives you pause, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can say
something to think about.
A lot of us can't say no. A lot of us can't say no, but
Yeah.
not a lot of us are able or can go through it and say I will not.
Right. Yeah.
We'll change our minds after saying no, but once we get to that point where we are able to say I will not. So from I say I will not be moved.
That's kind of finite, isn't it? Yeah, I will not. Right. Well, thank you, Mr. Milton McCulloch, as always, my friend. Thank you for being on Zoom and a fresh conversation. And everybody, as a survivor of COVID-19, please get your vaccinations. It is important. I survived, but many have not. So good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, big sis.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tony.
Bye, Angie.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Angie.
Hey, Miss Angie.
Yeah, I see her down the bottom.
I know.
But she's there.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.